Hello, I have chosen the oral assignment number 1, and I will start out by talking about William Wordsworth's poem, The Tables Turned. This poem consists of 8 4-line stanzas, which rhymes A, B, A, B, and it is written in iambs with 4 beats in the first and third line of each stanza, and then 3 beats in the second and fourth line. I have parted this poem up in 4 parts, so I'll just go through each part and talk about them, what the poem is about. In the first two in the first 2 stanzas, the speaker begins by telling his friend, being his reader, I think, to stop reading books because we will grow double, meaning that we will become fat. So then he asks us why we choose to be so serious while outside it is so beautiful. The next 2 stanzas, here, he is stating that books are dull and an endless strife, so that rather than reading we should go outside and listen to the birds because their singing is of more wisdom than any book contains. And then the 2 last lines of the 4th stanza is pretty much summing up the whole message of the poem. Come forth into the light of things, let nature be a teacher. So the speaker is telling us that nature has more to teach than books, and that we should go outside rather than sitting inside and read. Blah blah. In the next 2 stanzas, the speaker tells us that she, being Mother Nature, is full of wealth, and that she wants to bless us with this wealth. And he also says that in nature, wisdom comes from being happy and healthy, and that a person can learn much more about moral, evil, and good, much more about humanity from a tree than from any wise man. And in the last 2 stanzas, the speaker suggests that even though nature is giving us some sort of intelligence, we tend to ruin the knowledge that we get from nature by dissecting it. So he's saying that the scientific investigation of nature, dissecting things to figure out their inner workings, will kill off something magical and spiritual, or causes us to miss the lead essence of things. So instead we should reject traditional science and simply go out into nature and listen, observe, and learn with a heart that watches and receives. As for the title, to turn the tables means to change a situation so that someone's position is the opposite of what it was before. So you could say that Wordsworth wants poetry to turn the tables on science, and maybe intuition to turn the tables on intellect or reason. So yeah. The language in the poem is very formal, and it uses many uncommon words such as luster or hark. Somewhere it also says blithe. I don't really know where they but anyway, I don't really think that the language was so uncommon at that time when it was written. I actually read somewhere that Wordsworth made an effort to use a more colloquial language, but for me some of the phrases are very difficult to understand due to the words being very formal and not often used in my everyday English. But it's not difficult to understand the emotion in the poem, which is just excitement about all that nature can offer you. There's a very positive attitude which encourages the reader to want to experience what nature can teach us, and this is seen through a lot of imagery. The poem creates a beautiful image of woods and mountains, sun, green fields, and and it's using a lot of adjective to describe things, and this is especially seen in this stanza. Freshening luster, mellow, long green field, sweet evening yellow. So yeah, it doesn't mention any time or place, so it makes a poem very timeless, but to place it in its historical period, I would say that it's from 1798, which is, I think, it's just before the Romanticism. So we are still in the Enlightenment. So yeah, but rather than advanced knowledge through scientific method, the Romantics favored more natural, emotional themes. So the whole poem expresses this Romanticism, and it's simply experiencing nature is better than studying nature, and that we learn more by letting the natural world overwhelm us with its beauty than we ever could learn by trying to figure it out in its scientific detail. Okay, so moving on to the next poem, Country Walk by Fiona Pitt-Kethley. I just want to quickly summarize it while comparing it to William Wordsworth's poem. This poem is in some ways a bit opposite from the other poem. In contrary to Wordsworth's poem, in which nature invites us, here nature literally sends us away. In Wordsworth's poem, nature is almost seen as a, I don't know, could you call it sort of a savior that holds something new and untouched, while in Country Walk, the animals that are meant to represent the idyll of the nature are breaking with that, to put it mildly. This poem depicts some very beautiful pictures against some very ugly pictures. She goes out, I went to the pond and threw bread to the ducks. Stuff your mother's pride, they said, we want worms. Yeah. And there's a huge change of style in each stanza, being this very beautiful picture up against some very tough rhetoric and somewhere also some sexual undercurrents. To place this poem in its literal historical context was a bit difficult for me. I do know that the 80s in England was not very good. There wasn't much kindness. People were poor. There was a lot of unemployment, xenophobia, and racism, egoism, which is shown through the way the animals behave. They are not very friendly, and yeah. The text is altogether very traditional in its form, but in terms of contents, it is postmodern. It's from 1985. Especially because of the perspective on nature, which, as I said earlier, is completely opposite from Wordsworth's poem. So you could say that it sort of plays with a type of nature poem, or at least that it plays with the tradition of nature poems from, for instance, the Romantic movement. So to conclude what the poems have in common, obviously they are both about nature, interacting with nature, and the outcome of that is a different matter, which I think fits well with the historical contexts that they were written in. But I think that what is most important when comparing the two poems is that they are both quite critical of society. And I am almost running out of time, so I think I will stop here. Yep. Goodbye.